Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Young and Restless preview. Nick's eyebrow-raising plan to help Sharon could make matters 1,000 times worse. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. Sharon's unbridled rage was impossible to ignore last week on Young and Restless, which means her family will be more determined than ever to get to the bottom of what's going on with her. Unfortunately, her ex-husband's master plan may just make matters a whole lot worse. Sharon showed signs of instability long before the late bloodied Cameron showed up in her living room as a figment of her twisted imagination to act as an advisor. We began to suspect she was off her bipolar meds even before she admitted to Nick that the doctor had put her on a different prescription. As we now know, Sharon didn't like the way the new pills made her feel, so she stopped taking them. Fast forward to the present and we have Sharon seeing, and talking to, her dead daughter Cassie as well as the demented stalker she stabbed to death. In fact, Cameron, who appears to be stuck for perpetuity in the same bloody torn shirt he died in, seems to go everywhere with Sharon at this point. As has been explained through exposition, this is because he's not Cameron's ghost, but a figment of Sharon's unmedicated mind. We were led to believe he was there to help her figure things out, but it's all gone a bit sideways as he's instead egging her on to make questionable decisions. Perhaps in a twisted kind of way, he is helping her purge herself of the anger and pain she's been carrying around all of these years since Cassie's tragic death. Not as helpfully, he's cheering her on as she directs that rage at other people. In any case, we've reached a point where her family can no longer sweep Sharon's issues under the proverbial rug. Her behavior has become unhinged since Faith and Lucy's car wreck, and while everyone understands why and feels empathy, something clearly needs to be done. That brings us to our Young and Restless spoilers, which have Nick and Mariah formulating a plan to help their loved one. What worries us, however, is the preview, in which Mariah tells Nick, "It feels wrong." He replies, "I know, but we need the truth." Yeah, characters don't say things like that unless the plan is truly questionable. If our hunch is correct, Nick will ask Mariah to pretend to be her dead twin Cassie in order to find out if Sharon is actually on her meds. It could be something as simple as he suggests she go through her mother's purse, but because this is a soap, the latter is more likely. Maria posing as Cassie could get them the answers they're looking for, but they'll be taking a huge risk. If Sharon discovers the deception, particularly in her current unmedicated state, she's going to be apoplectic. Let's not forget, when Maria first came into her life, she was gaslighting her and pretending to be Cassie whilst working for Victor. If she was caught doing it again, even with the best of intentions, it would definitely make the situation 1,000 times worse, as Sharon will have no one left she feels like she can trust, and will be running around Gemma City like a truly loose cannon. Nick Newman has always been the steadfast pillar for those he loves, especially Sharon, but now in the latest twist on the Young and the Restless, his well-intentioned plan to help Sharon could spiral into chaos, dragging them both into deeper waters. It all began when Sharon found herself embroiled in yet another crisis, a battle for control at Crimson Lights. After months of trying to keep things together, Sharon's beloved coffeehouse was at risk. A series of bad financial decisions and unexpected competition from a new cafe across the street left her on the verge of losing everything. Despite her best efforts, Sharon's attempts to save her business seemed to fall flat. Enter Nick Newman, Sharon's ex-husband, friend, and perpetual knight in shining armor. Nick couldn't stand by while Sharon's world fell apart. Seeing her in distress reawakened his protective instincts, and as always, he was determined to fix things. However, Nick's track record of trying to rescue Sharon often left him tangled in situations far beyond what he bargained for. This time, Nick decided to go bold. While discussing Sharon's dilemma with his sister Victoria at Newman Enterprises, Nick proposed a shocking solution, merging Sharon's Crimson Lights into one of Newman's subsidiaries. It would allow Sharon to retain control of her cafe, but give her access to corporate resources, financial backing, and marketing power that could crush any competition. At first glance, it seemed like a no-brainer. With Newman Enterprises backing, Crimson Lights would be an untouchable force in Genoa City. However, Victoria was quick to throw cold water on Nick's plan. "Are you out of your mind?" she asked, eyes wide with disbelief. "You think Sharon's going to want to feel indebted to us? To Newman Enterprises? She's too independent for that, Nick. She'll never agree to it." Nick brushed off her concerns. He was convinced he knew Sharon better than anyone and believed she would eventually see reason. What Victoria couldn't predict was just how deep Nick's involvement was about to go, and how much trouble it could stir up in Sharon's life. Determined to prove his sister wrong, Nick met with Sharon that evening at Crimson Lights. They sat in one of the cozy corners of the cafe, the familiar smell of coffee and pastries wafting through the air. Sharon, visibly exhausted and stressed, appreciated Nick's concern, but seemed skeptical when he pitched his idea. "I don't know, Nick," Sharon hesitated. "I'm not sure I want Newman's name tied to Crimson Lights. This place has always been something I did on my own. It's a piece of me." Nick leaned forward, his expression earnest. "Sharon, I get it. But this is about saving something you love. I'm not asking you to give up control. You'd still run everything. It's just a way to make sure you don't lose it. I wouldn't suggest this if I didn't think it was the right move." Sharon bit her lip, clearly torn. As much as she valued her independence, she couldn't deny the financial security the merger would bring. After a long pause, she nodded, though not without reservation. "I'll think about it." But what neither Sharon nor Nick anticipated was the ripple effect this decision would have. The moment word got out about the potential Newman involvement in Crimson Lights, it sent shockwaves through Genoa City. Rivals, including the newly opened cafe across the street, saw it as a hostile move and began spreading rumors that Newman was planning a corporate takeover of small businesses. Sharon's loyal customers started questioning her motives, fearing their favorite neighborhood spot was about to turn into another soulless chain. Meanwhile, back at Newman Enterprises, things were heating up. Victor Newman, ever the strategist, caught wind of Nick's plan and saw an opportunity to leverage Crimson Lights in his own corporate dealings. He ordered Victoria to dig into the cafe's finances and look for any weaknesses they could exploit for the benefit of Newman Enterprises. Suddenly, Sharon's sanctuary became a potential pawn in Victor's chess game. Nick, oblivious to his father's machinations, continued to press Sharon, convinced that the merger was the best way forward. But Sharon began to feel the weight of the decision, realizing that she could be putting her independence, her reputation, and even her relationship with Nick on the line. As the tension mounted, she started pulling away from Nick, sensing that what had once been an offer of help was now becoming a trap. To make matters worse, Adam Newman caught wind of Nick's plan and saw an opening. Ever the opportunist, Adam decided to swoop in and offer Sharon a way out, an alternative plan that would allow her to keep full control of Crimson Lights, while he quietly provided the funding she needed. Adam framed it as an act of friendship, but in reality, he was looking to drive a wedge between Nick and Sharon, playing on her fears of losing her autonomy. Sharon, now torn between Nick's offer and Adam's proposition, found herself in an impossible situation. Her heart told her to trust Nick, but her instincts warned her that merging with Newman Enterprises could lead to more trouble than she bargained for. And Adam, with his smooth-talking charm, only complicated things further. As tensions boiled over, Nick's plan, which he had hoped would rescue Sharon, began to unravel. The more he pushed, the more Sharon retreated, and soon, their once solid friendship was on the rocks. Nick, always the fixer, realized too late that in his quest to save Sharon, he might have driven her away. Now, as Sharon faces a pivotal choice, whether to merge Crimson Lights with Newman or go it alone, Nick must grapple with the consequences of his actions. He may have had the best of intentions, but in trying to help, he might have made everything 1,000 times worse.